everyone, and Happy New Year! So today is January 1st and time for the obligatory photocard collection update. So I don't really know if this is that necessary considering my last one was like 5 videos ago, but I wanted to film this anyway because it's just a staple of this time of year. So it's currently January 1st, who knows when this will be uploaded, probably in a couple days, but what better time than right now to film this. For my last collection update in July, I finished my video with ateez, but for this one, I figured I would just start with them to change it up, and also to get my largest collection out of the way first. And before we get started, just wanted to say all my supplies will be linked down below. But with that, we're going to start with ateez. So if you've watched any videos on my channel, you would know it's the most common knowledge ever that ateez is my alt group, and then I collect ot8. So this is my first binder, and I actually have 3 ateez binders at this point, and that is absolutely insane. Clearly, I do not like having a bank account, and therefore, we have 3 binders. But yeah, we'll start with this one, which is the album binder, and it just has this Song Seasons greeting card on the front from 2022. And this binder holds debut through Fever Part 2. So I'm probably going to go through this really quickly since this binder has not changed at all since my last video, because it's the one that doesn't get updated anymore. But yeah, at the front is just some tour stuff from the Fellowship Tour, and then these holographic freebie group cards, and then group cards from Treasure Series. So starting with EP1, this is pretty much all complete except 2 MMT cards. And I actually have the Hongjun card that goes on this page, but I don't know, I just refuse to put it away until I get Mingi's because I actually like the way this page looks as a 6 layout, because I think it looks really symmetrical. One day when I finally get that Mingi card, that page will be done, but it's not something I really think about. But yeah, this has been done, honestly, it feels like years at this point, and these are like my favorite cards of my ateez collection ever, especially this page, because I don't know, this is when I like first started collecting them, was like during these times. It was just so simple and fun, and pops didn't exist. Yeah, it was just a different time to collect ateez, when the worst thing I needed to worry about was managing to get all these MMT cards and not collecting 65 pobs for one era. Okay, and then it moves into Fever Part 1, which I have all of it except only 4 members of these diary cards. And then the beginning of Pobs, so these are all the MMTs. Then K-Town, Apple Music, Beat Road, Soundwave, with Drama, Yes 24, and MMT. Then Fever Part 2, which is the whole rest of this binder. And side tangent, but in the last 12 hours, I've had 2 different people tell me that my Fever Part 2 templates are missing Mingi, and I'm like, what kind of DM is that? Like, even non-18s know that he was not in this comeback, and I'm just like, Halazia must have gotten so many random people who had never heard of ateez before in their life to not know this information. Anyway, yes, Fever Part 2, PSA, for anyone who doesn't know, only had 7 members. Okay, now that that's out of the way, yeah, all of these pages are complete. This is literally like the last era I collected full group for album cards, and this didn't even have all the members, so that is sad. But I just haven't really been feeling collecting ot8 for all the albums after this, but I'll be collecting ot8 for spin-off because those photo cards are phenomenal. So yeah, oh, and starting here, these are Pobs, so these are all MMT. Then K-Town, Apple Music, Sonara. I don't really know if I should bother naming all these because it doesn't really matter, and I've named them all in the past. Also, I don't even know if I have all these memorized still, but honestly, I probably do, and that's embarrassing. But yeah, these are all Make Star, Y Global, more Make Star, Market Shop. I think this is like music art, more Make Star, and then the last page is MMT, and then I have this page of 4 different random sets. And then these were the sub K photo cards from Fever Part 2. And that is the end of this binder. Yeah, just strictly album cards starting at debut. And this binder is 100% full and never gets added to at all. So is still the same from the last video. Next up is my second ateez binder, which holds Viva Part 3 to Movement, which is kind of insane that this entire binder is only 3 eras long. That is ridiculous. But you know, old things. So yeah, this Wooyoung card is in the front, and then this Ode to Youth A4, which is like my favorite picture in existence. And then 2 of the photos from that photo book. I think these were like a Japanese pre-order benefit. But then it just goes into photocards. So this is Viva Part 3. And then for these next 3 eras in a row, I didn't collect ot8 for album cards, but instead I gave everyone their own member page since there was 9 photocards. So yeah, Son and Wooyoung, Yuno, and Seonghwa. Son, Wooyoung, and Seonghwa are my top 3, and then I just really wanted Yuno's set for this era, so I collected it. And then these are some pobs that are just of these 4 members. So this is Who's Fan Cafe and Apple Music. And then this is Everline version 1 and Market Shop. This page is just a little layout of some cards I wanted to collect. So K-Town, Everline, Sonara. And then this is another layout of Son and Wooyoung cards. And then 2 more little layout pages. And as you'll notice by a few different collections I have, having 4 cards on a page like this really doesn't bother me. Like, I don't really find it wasteful. In my head, it's more just, this is the design of the page, so I'm fine with it being pretty empty. Then these are the lucky draws I collected from that era. Then moves on to all my ot8 sets, which were the greatest thing of this era, and honestly, my favorite ot8 sets that ateez have ever had for any era after this. Like, Viva Part 3 was absolutely superior and probably will never be topped. Like, the consistency of this era, the bar is just through the roof at this point. Like, that page, this page, and this page in a row were just a different caliber of photo cards. Yeah, that is all of them stopping there. And then this is the second sub K merch release. So I have the Polaroids and then the selfies. And that's the end of Viva Part 3. Then Epilogue, which I collected substantially less for this era than the 2 before and after it. But yeah, Son's page. Also, this is not an album card, this is a pre-order benefit, but it just looks better on this page than the actual card that's supposed to go here. So Son, Seonghwa, Wooyoung, and then ot8 sets. So I think this is Apple Music, Make Star. You can tell I really liked this set of outfits. And then this is the Make Star set. And then Hello 82, version 2. And then goes into non-ot8 pobs. This is just some Son and Seonghwa cards. There used to be a Seonghwa K-Town card in the middle right here, but I realized I did not like that there, so I removed it. But yeah, there's intentionally 2 Son K-Town cards on this page. And then some more cards. This is one of my favorite sets of them ever. Like, I just love all these cards together. And then another one of my favorite curated pages ever. I think these cards just look so great together. These are travel package cards, and these are actually from Viva Part 3, but they look really good with this aesthetic, so they're here. Also, randomly, I'm actually getting the other card of this to replace this one, the one with him with the filter, to match the one of Son with the filter, because I don't know, I've kind of always wanted those 2 on this page together rather than this one, so that's actually coming in my next buy haul. Yes, soon this page will actually be 1 card different, but I love this page so much, especially this card right here. Like, this is one of my favorite Son cards of all time. And then lastly, I have this incomplete ot8 set, but I don't really care that it's incomplete because I love these cards. And that is the end of Epilogue, and then we move into Movement, which are all the cards I just put away in my most recent storing video. And this isn't 100% complete. I'd say it's probably 95% complete, so that's pretty good. But yeah, these are all the IDs that this era had of my top 3. Then we have Son's page, Wooyoung, and Seonghwa. And then I'm missing 2 cards on these next 2 pages. It's just the Yes24 version 2 cards for each of them. This I have secured, and this one I think I might have a trade lined up, but this one's proving annoyingly hard to get. But yeah, these are just some cards that I really liked of him for this era, but that I didn't want ot8 of. So this is Sonara, his Digipack card, Tower Records, with Mew, Market Shop, Makes Their Lucky Draw, and this will be Yes24 version 2. And then a Wooyoung or Seonghwa equivalent to each of those cards. And then I have this little page of these Son and Yuno K-pop star cards, which I love these cards. They are so nice. And then after that is all my ot8 sets. And I think I'm collecting like 15 or 16 for this era. And I think there's about 12 or 13 in here. The last few I'm collecting are just on the way. So yeah, this is Beat Road, Japan Fan Cafe, Everline, Apple Music version 2, and this Soundwave version 2 set. I actually do have these cards. They're just at the Buy warehouse. I used to have the whole set, but I traded off 2 of those cards for something else, but I have them back. They just haven't made it to the video yet. Yeah, Soundwave version 2, Wonderwall 2, Make Star 4, and a couple of these pages are out of order of release just because I was trying to keep them in chronological order of when the photos were taken. So yeah, this is Everline 3, and then for example, this is Everline 2, but in these cards, Son has black hair, so clearly that was after he had blonde hair. That's kind of why they're in this order. Then this is Make Star 2, Soundwave 3, Make Star version 5 offline will be here. And then I have 2 sets of this same photocard set, which is Make Star 5 offline, which is like my favorite set of the era. And then the last set of this binder is Wonderwall version 5. And these last 2 pages are just for future sets I want to get. One of the ones I have secured is the Travel Package 01 cards. And then I think I want one more set after that, but they haven't come out yet. So that's what these 2 pages are for. But yeah, that is this binder. It's pretty much full, so clearly the new era spinoff is going into my 3rd binder, which makes me feel some type of way. But yeah, it's not gonna fit in here. And it's absolutely crazy that this binder is only 3 eras. But welcome to the future of collecting. I predict all eras will look like this. Anyway, there's clearly no turning back now. And then finally we have my last ateez binder, which just holds all of my merch and cards unrelated to albums. So the first card is just a Songhwa Pob. The first page is like the only photo cards related to an album, but I don't collect ot8 of these baby cards, so I just keep these in here at the front. This is their first 2 Japanese albums. And then Dreamers. I'm pretty lax on collecting Japanese cards. I don't really collect them that often because I didn't collect anything for Boxers, but I do want to collect some stuff for Paradigm. I just haven't got around to that yet. But then after that, we have some photo book cards and then just random merch cards. So these are from the summer merch, and then these are from photo books, and then these are just some sub-K pre-order Polaroids. Then I have these Season's Greeting cards from 2021, and then 4 of each of Son and Wooyoung's Hidden Map photo book PCs. Then after that, I have a bunch of ot8 sets, which for a while I was keeping the separated ot8 sets with non-ot8, but I kind of just stopped doing that after a while. I don't know. But yeah, these are all of the ot8 sets I have for merch items. So first Season's Greetings, and then a bunch of other merch releases, name tag cards, 2nd anniversary, 2nd fan kit, 3rd anniversary. These are the soundcheck photo cards from their Fellowship tour, and these from the Ode to Youth photo book, 3rd 18E, and the Rejoiner benefits. And then these are the IDs from that fan kit, which I designed and made these little ID holders for them, so they look really cute like this. And then I also have some designed ID holders for their 2021 Season's Greetings IDs. Then after that, this is a lot more recent merch I just decided to put back here. So these are cards from their first Wonderwall clothing collab, and I have cards from rounds 2 and 3. 4 photo book cards from the Dear Diary and 2nd Summer photo book. And then the last 2 pages are just some cards from their Break the Wall tour. This looks different than how I stored them in my last photo card storing video, but I decided to change it up after that video. So I decided to put Wooyoung's set with the group card because, I don't know, I didn't really like the way it was laid out before. Also, he's like the center of the group card, so it works with this page. And then I put Son and Songhwa sets together with their soundcheck photo cards, so that is now how this looks. And then at the very back here behind these postcards, I have some larger inclusions that are a lot more important than the other larger inclusions I have for them. So first I have my anniversary postcards from MMT, and I have 7 of the 8. I don't have Songhwa's, but I'll probably never get that, but I don't really ever think about that. And then in this last spot down here, I have this Son broadcast postcard, but it's actually going to move soon because I have a Wooyoung equivalent of this coming, so they're going to go on a page together next to each other. And then the last things back here are Son and Yosong's anniversary postcards from Japan. And yeah, that is the very end of this binder and the last of my 3 ateez binders. I have more ateez cards, but they'll be shown later in my collect books. But yeah, for now, those were my 3 binders, and this one will be growing very soon with the latest comeback. Okay, so next up, I think I'll move on to all of my A5 binders. Typically, I would do all my larger binders at the same time, but I'm just feeling like doing these right now. So the first one I have is my Stray Kids collection. This is a very relaxed collection for me. I kind of just collect the current comebacks, and then I have the remnants of my previous Stray Kids collection. So it's very mismatched and eclectic, I guess. But yeah, the cover collage is really recent. It's from Accident. And then all of the beginning parts of this collection are pretty much all the same. It's just a bunch of unit cards from their first 2 albums, and then all of the older era Mino and Hyunjin cards that I collected. I used to have these almost complete, but I dropped this collection once before and then regretted that, and now I'm recollecting them, but I've never bothered to go back and re-get the cards I used to have because I just don't really feel like doing that. And also, surprisingly, from the time that I was collecting this the first time, I managed to get both of these lenties, which honestly, Lord knows where these came from. Like, this was so long ago, I have literally no clue anymore. And then this is more current era Stray Kids, so this is Go Live. I would really like to have Hyunjin's double-sided card, but I could not be bothered to ever get that unless someone trades it to me, but I really could not care less. But that honestly will probably never happen, so yeah. But this era is when I started collecting a couple of Felix cards here and there. In Stray Kids, I truly don't have a bias. My bias is all 3 members of Dance Racha, like pretty much equally. I tend to just collect Mino the most because I like his cards the most, but he's not my bias or anything, so that's why there's a bunch of Felix cards here for this era. And then these are some sub-K cards. And then the limited set. Then the pre-order set from Christmas Evil. And then these 2 cards. And then these are some Polaroids I thought looked matching with this page. Then we have Ordinary, where I collected my top 4. All the units. And then the last pages of this binder are for Maxident, which I'm not done yet. I'm missing like 3 Hyunjin cards, but these are really not a priority, so who knows when this will ever get done, but you know, it's not really something I think about much, but yeah. And for this era, I collected 2 cards per member, so this is the first set, which is just like a combination of these 2 versions, and then the heart cards. But yeah, I'm missing 3 Hyunjin cards, like this heart card, and then this target card, and this Polaroid. So I have a bunch of cards to trade for him, so if you have any of these Hyunjin cards I have and want other Maxident cards, I have a bunch on my trade account. But yeah, that is my Stray Kids binder. It's really something I just have going on in the background because one of my friends ults Stray Kids, so I collect this with her to, I don't know, engage in something fun. Next up is my TXT collection, which I keep in 2 Sanrio A5 binders. Honestly, I don't know if this has changed at all since my last collection video, because I really don't remember when Thursday's Child happened, like if it happened before July or after July. This is probably still the same as my last video, but if you don't know, I collect Taeyeon, and I have a complete album card collection up until Thursday's Child. I don't collect anything except Korean album cards, no Japanese, no merch or anything, so this is a very small collection. And then to fill a bunch of the pages, I have a card or 2 from another member, and it's kind of in a weird order because I keep all the bigger cards at the front, but it is all complete. So yeah, Star, Magic, Eternity, and then some more cards from other members. Then these duo cards from Eternity, and then goes into all the small cards. So Magic, Blue Hour, rest of Blue Hour, Freeze, then the OS cards, Fighter Escape, and then Thursday's Child. Then these are the tier version cards with the target cards, and then I also have Kai's set, and then the rest of the target cards. And then the last part of this binder is just the lenties and mini postcards. And that is this binder. TXT is just a really small collection I've been honestly doing since almost debut, and it's like no stress because I don't collect any pops or any merch, so I just get my albums in Target and move on with my day. And then the second binder is for all of his mini PCs. So I have Shine by Together, Act Boy, Taeyeon and Kai's sets. then Moabite Together, his birthday photocard set, and then lastly, Act Lovesick. And that is my entire TXT collection. A very small collection of mine, but very consistent. Then next up is my Monsta X collection, which I honestly don't think has changed whatsoever since my last video 6 months ago, because they haven't had a comeback in a while, and also my post-tour hyperfixation of collecting has passed, so probably no new updates in this binder. But the way I collect this collection is super random. I collect just my favorite cards of Minhyuk, Kihyun, and Hyungwon to varying degrees, and I just put them in layouts I find satisfying. So yeah, pretty empty at the beginning, but towards the end it's a lot more complete. This spread right here is complete though, which I love, from Fantasia. Then I also have this one-of-a-kind spread that's complete, which is like my favorite thing ever, especially with these two Kinos. And then their most recent era. And then that's all of their solo album cards. Then we have group cards and units, so a bunch of old group cards. And then units. This is a unit spread. Then some POBs from Shape of Love. And then I have just a few merch cards for them. So these are from one of their tours, I think one of the Connect tours. And then this is from one of their summer photo books. This is a card from Voyager. And then lastly, we have some small POBs from No Limit and Shape of Love. I just keep them back here since they're not Monsta X sized photo cards. And then lastly, these Polaroids. And that is this entire binder. Like I said, really no changes here. And then this is my last A5 boy group binder, but low-key not for long though, because I'm actually starting a new collection, which said no new collections in 2023, except on like December 29th of 2022, I decided I'm going to hyperfixate into another boy group, and that means new collection. Yeah, here's a sneak peek if you know what this is referring to. Also, I've literally brought it up on my Instagram like 100 times. But yeah, that's that. That'll be soon. Definitely have cards for that in my next Ring Photo Cards video. Enough about that. This is my WeI binder, which this is definitely new since my last collection update. But yeah, I collect Junso very thoroughly. So this binder is now just him. I used to have a bunch of cards for all the other members, but now they are in a separate collect book, and this binder is dedicated just to his collection. So this is from their first album, First Sight, and the two Polaroids. Then the POBs I have for this era, only two because I haven't got around to buying these yet. Then we have Challenge, which is all complete. So this is all of the cards. And then the Polaroids and clear cards. And then I don't have POBs for this era either, except this one Makestar card. Then Action era with all of the cards and Polaroids. And then these are all Makestar. And then these are K-Town. And then some K-pop store cards. And then lastly, these two YZY cards. And then moving on to the massive collection that was First Love. So these are all of his album cards. And then moving into POBs. So I have maybe 50% of the era. There was literally so many. And they're kind of in layouts that I thought looked good together. So these are the ones that all look like album concepts. And then these ones are all very white. This is the set I like to call Backstage of Music Shows. And this is my favorite page. It's very blue and orangey tones. And then it moves into the POBs where he has his dark hair, except for this one, which is just randomly sitting there. But yeah, that was all the cards I had for First Love. And then we move into Love Part 2, which I have not got around to finishing yet, because I'm just waiting for all these cards to go on Mercari Japan so I can buy them all in one big set, like I did for all the rest of this. Yeah, this is what I currently have, just 2 POBs and these 3 album cards. But yeah, that is my Junso collection. This is also the byproduct of another post-concert hyperfixation. And now the last two A5 binders I have here are my girl group collections. So this first composition binder holds wjsn, who is my ultimate girl group, and really the only thorough girl group collection I have. So in wjsn, I collect Dawon, Sola, Unso, and Yeonjung pretty much thoroughly, except the cards are kind of laid out in a different layout. And I mostly collect them starting at Would You Please, but for these two older eras, I have a few cards, so just 2 cards. So yeah, this is The Secret and then Dream Your Dream. So for this collection, I originally started collecting Sola and Unso, who were my top 2, but then a bunch of bias changes happened, and I added 2 members, so I don't collect the same cards for each member. That's why they're laid out not all on the same page. And yeah, for Sola and Unso, I have 2 of their Would You Please cards, and then all 3 of their Would You Stay cards. But then for Dawon and Yeonjung, I collect all 3 of their Would You Please, and then only 2 of their Would You Stay. So it works better like this than if I tried to combine all 4 members on the same page. And also, I have a bunch of these cards on the way. Yeah, it's Dawon's set. I have all 3 of those on the way, and then some more Yeonjung's. So those will be added in my next Drawing Photocards video. But then moving on, for the summer, I collect 1 card per member. Then we have As You Wish, which is my favorite wjsn era ever, and title track. So I have all of Sola and Unso's, and then this extra die-on card that fills this page, and then this broadcast card. Then I have 2 of Dawon and Yeonjung's. And then moving on to Neverland, I collect 4 cards out of the 6 per member. So these are the ones I have. And then Dawon and Yeonjung's. This card I have on the way. Then unit cards for all 4 of them. I just collected the ones that I really liked. Then a natural. And I have a bunch of these on the way as well. And then the units for a natural. And then here's 2 POBs I have for this era, and then I have a couple more on the way, which is exciting. Because POBs for this era are a lot harder to get than like current era. Then obviously I collect wjsn the Black because Sola and Unso. So I have all 6 of their album cards, and then all 3 units that they share together. And then the last part of this binder is Sequence, their most recent comeback. And this is actually all complete, except for 1 jewel case card, but I actually have it on the way from Instagram. So that will be the last card to complete this collection. Then I have the units I collected. I just collected 4 units per photocard back. And then I have a few POBs. So these are Starship Square, these are Lucky Draws, K-Town, MMT, and Beat Road. And then lastly, with Mew. I mostly just collect POBs for these 2 because they are so much cheaper than the other 2. But I'm fine with that because Dawon is my #1 bias. And at the very back, I have these Neverland tickets, which sit back here because they are larger than normal photocards. Yeah, that was my wjsn album cards binder. Completing that album cards binder is literally my #1 priority for the beginning of 2023. Like, I really want those album cards complete so bad because I'm so close and I'm just always looking for those cards. But moving on, the remainder of my wjsn collection for my top 4 is in this other binder. So I store all of these cards with all 4 members per page. So these are from one of their summer photo books, Season's Greetings, a concert. These are just some random cards, so this is just random merch cards in a fan kit. And then the last cards I have are from their 5th Ujung fan kit. And those are all the wjsn cards I currently have. I have a bunch more on the way though from a bunch of merch releases I have bought, like their most recent photo book and also Season's Greetings. Then we move on to Ive, which I'm not really collecting anymore, and I was never really collecting them thoroughly. I just had my pulls and a few POBs from their first 2 albums. But yeah, this is 11 where I have my pulls and then Starship Square POBs. And my bias in Ive is Eugen and my second bias is Liz. Then I have the rest of the members. Then moving on to Love Dive, I have Liz's whole set. Then Starship Square, and then my favorite POBs of Eugen and Liz for the era. And then some more Eugen here. And then I have 1 Liz Starship Square POB from After Like. And then these are from their first welcome kit. And that is my whole IVE collection. Then moving on is stayc, which I'm not really collecting them anymore either, but I still have this set up. But yeah, I have like very few cards for this, but I was collecting San and Isa. Then I have at the very back just a few random one-off cards from other groups. So I have these two Chaeyoung cards from Purple Kiss, and then these two cards from Idol, who are actually my other #1 favorite girl group with wjsn. I just don't really collect them, but I finally got one of their albums from Target, and these are two of the cards I have because Uki and Minnie are my two biases. And then lastly at the back, I have these cards from Nayeon's solo, and that is the end of this girl group binder. As you can see, I am definitely a boy group stan, but wjsn and this collection, literally all-time faves forever. Oh my gosh, y'all, my throat is on fire, and I think I'm only like 50% done with this video. Oh my god, we have to keep going, because I only have today to film this. But moving on back to larger binders, this is my miscellaneous groups binder, and the first part of this collection is actually the rest of the 6 members from all of the ot8 sets I get in merch items. And I put them in this double spread like this because they fit perfectly. So these are all of the cards I currently have. This first page is the brighter photo cards, and then the second page are darker cards. And that's all of the sets I have. Then moving on, we have Twice. So I have a really small Twice collection of 2 albums. So this is Formula of Love, where I have Sauna set, then also Daeyeon. Then this is Between 1 and 2, where I have a bunch of cards per concept, and then a bunch of Twice pre-order cards, which I like. Then lastly, Between 1 and 2, and then I have Sana and Nayeon's Once Halloween 2 trading card sets. And that is the end of Twice. Then next up, I have my Ace collection from when I used to collect them. So I have the full set from the Butterfly Fantasy, then some Pop sets from this album, and then another spread of cards from their second choice fan kit. And that's the end of Ace. And then at the very back, I just have a bunch of enhypen cards for members of my non-top 3. So all of these are from Border Day 1. Then we have Border Carnival, Dimension Dilemma and Dimension Answer, and then some Pobs and trading card sets, and just random stuff back here. But yeah, that was everything in my multi-binder, I guess I would call it. I've literally never called it that in my life, but these are just random collections in here. Then next up, we have my Gravity collection, which honestly hasn't changed much either. Really, these last 3 collections haven't really changed much at all, except for the most recent comeback they've each had, so I'm just saving them for the end. And these really won't be that thorough or in-depth, because I've gone in-depth with these so many times. But yeah, for Gravity, like my top 3, Serum, Dragmo, and Minnie, and it's pretty much all complete except for a few cards here and there. But yeah, this is Season 1, Season 2, Season 2 Pobs, Season 3, and then Season 3 Pobs. Then Written in the Stars, album photo cards, and Pobs. I have like 5 pages or something for this era. Then my unit cards. Then Liberty and Our Cosmos. This right here will never be complete, which drives me absolutely insane because this card does not exist whatsoever, so oh my god, it drives me insane. And this unit card is literally never coming. Like, it's not hard to get, I just have never got it. I don't know what is wrong with me, but yeah. And then this is their most recent comeback, New Wave, and I have this on the way. I just need to get these 2, but they're not difficult to get. And then I need to get this mini Starship Square Pop. It says Taeyang, but Minnie's gonna go here. And then this is my Pop page, literally just some Starship Square. I haven't really started working on Pops for this era, and I don't really know how many I'll get anymore, but that is album cards. Then I have my unit page, and I have all these on the way except this one. And then all the rest of this is all of my merch cards, which Cravity haven't really released much merch since my last update, so honestly, I don't even know if there's a single new set in here. These are all just from like season's greetings, fan kits, photo books, fan meetings, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, honestly, I don't think a single thing has been released since then. Interesting. Or nothing that I personally collected. Yeah, then we just have some more stuff back here. IDs and stuff. Then these film strips and tickets. And then this is where I keep the other 6 members. They fit perfectly in this spread, just like wjsn. So these are the 3 spreads I currently have for these guys. Then, as always, the second part of this binder is just my superm and NCT collections because they just fit at the back of this binder. Yeah, this is all superm. And then NCT, where I have a complete Jan collection up until favorite. So yeah, these are all the other eras. This NCT 2020. And then sticker up to here, and then these are just random cards that I got after that to fill the page, and then this collection's pretty much done. Then I have a couple pages just random cards of the other members I loved, and then random Stray Kids big inclusions back here, which I have no clue why any of this is in here. It just happens to stay in here. Yeah, that is this binder. Really just need to finish this era, but I'm kind of lazy, and that's why it's still not done, even though this collection's really easy to work on. And then this will be the last larger A4 binder I show. So if you've been a viewer of my channel for a long time, you would know I have a very, very large Victon collection, but I don't really collect them anymore. And that binder hasn't had a single change since my last update. So I'm just not going to show that binder at all because it's completely the same. So it really doesn't need to be shown. And that's not really a collection I actually collect anymore. It's just I'm not getting rid of any of the cards. They just sit in that binder. So enhypen will be the last larger binder shown. And same thing for pretty much all my collections except ateez. I've really dialed back this collection. Again, there's hardly been any changes, really just their manifesto comeback, and that's it. Because enhypen aren't really ults anymore. I don't know, I've just really stopped keeping up with a bunch of their content. I used to have 3 ults. It used to be ateez, enhypen, and Victon, but now I have 1 ult and it's just ateez. I don't really have a second favorite group. My second favorite group is truly just whoever has had the most recent comeback that I can hyperfixate into at that current moment. Yeah, I mean, enhypen will probably move up to my second favorite group again right after they have a comeback, but they haven't had a comeback in a while. So right now they're just kind of out of my mind at the moment. Like the only group I truly ult is just ateez. So that's why this collection and a lot of my other collections really haven't progressed past minor updates from one comeback. So I just thought I would say that, but yeah, this is my enhypen collection, same and complete as always. So yeah, my top 3 in enhypen are Sunwoo, Sungun, and Heesung. And all of these pages are complete up until Manifesto Day 1. And I collect Jake here and there for Pobs and Weavers cards and stuff like that. And then this is the most recent comeback that I never finished. So all the album cards are complete, but I never finished getting Pobs for the bottom row like I've done for the last few eras. And honestly, I probably won't ever go back and do that, so it kind of irritates me that these pages are going to be incomplete. And I considered just putting all of the 3 selfie concepts on the same page and then the concept cards on the same page, because I never even really liked these cards in the first place, so it wouldn't bother me if they weren't here. But it would kind of drive me crazy that every single one of these eras was 1 page per concept instead of putting all of the same type of card together. So yeah, for now, these next 2 pages just have a blank at the bottom because I don't have any Pobs. In the future, I might decide to put all the selfies together on the same page and then all the concept cards on the same page, but time will tell. But yeah, that was all of their comebacks, and then this is all merch and other stuff. So these are Pobs from the first 3 eras. Then these are all merch cards and uniform cards. Their first Japanese album. And then a bunch of merch ot8 sets. And then also fan meeting stuff. yeah, really just speeding through all this because none of it's new, and my throat is on fire. Like, my throat is absolutely dying right now. And yeah, that was my enhypen collection. Pretty much exactly the same as it was before. And the last part of my collection are all of my little collect books. So I have two 2-pocket collect books and then 4 1-pockets. Start with these 2. This first one has ateez, pobs, dupes, and cards of my non-top 3 in here. So start out with some dupes from the older eras, and then dupes from FIFA Part 2, then these are FIFA Part 3, Epilogue, and then we get into pobs. So these are just pobs that don't go in my main photocard binders, so they just sit in here. And that is all of them. It's just from like FIFA Part 2 up until Epilogue. And this one is full. Then I have more ateez cards in this one, which just holds non-album cards, so like a Japanese card, and then some merch cards, so it's like birthday merch, season's greetings, and other types of photo books and stuff like that. And then I have a few enhypen group cards and units back here. And that is this one. Then this next one is for all of my non-Junso cards from wjsn. So it starts off with the album cards. So First Sight, then Action, and then First Love. And then it goes into pobs from all of those eras. And then a few from Love Part 2. And that is this collect book. Then I have this one that holds all of my extra cravity cards. So there's a few units, merch cards, and a bunch of pobs. And that is this one. Next up we have post X1 soloists and stuff like that. So Unsong, then Wooseok, Sungwoo, Sungyun, and Donkyo, and that is this one. And the very last collect book has BTS and EXO. Oh, and also 17 is in here. And yeah, that is the last little collect book and all the last of the photo cards I had to show for my updated collection. Just gonna put these back in frame for the outro. So this is like my first collection update that I'm not gonna show my big inclusions in because frankly, I don't really think anyone cares about those and I'm too tired to go through them. Like my voice is dying and that's just gonna take forever. So I'm just gonna pass up on those for this video. But regardless, I hope you all enjoyed this update of the current state of my collection. Not that many changes for most groups except like wjsn, ateez, and wjsn, which is what I'm really going hard on collecting right now. And in 2023, my main collecting goals is to finish wjsn album cards and then just keep expanding my ateez collection while simultaneously dwindling back the other groups because I'm just really feeling collecting ateez right now. And honestly, at the rate that KQ is releasing things, I really don't have the money to be collecting a bunch of other groups anyway. But I actually just started a new collection, so honestly, what am I even saying? But yeah, that will be another thing I'll be working on at the beginning of this year. But it's a really small collection, so it's not that difficult. But yeah, if you made it to this far in the video, I'm not really sure how long this video is because I tried to go really fast with all of these binders, and also I recorded this in multiple clips, so I'm not really sure how long it was. But if you've watched all the way to this point, comment down below your proudest achievement you accomplished this year for your collection, and also your favorite photocard set you collected. Not necessarily your favorite ones from a comeback musically, but just the ones that you thought were the best thing that ever got printed on a piece of cardstock. I would say mine were probably the cards from wjsn's 5th Ujung fan kit, the ones that were like Dark Academia / Clue inspired. Or my second favorites were just a ton of the pop sets I collected for ateez's movement comeback. But yeah, or just let me know anything else in the comments, because I absolutely love talking to people about their collections. But with that, I hope you all had a happy new year with only good things to come in 2023. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.